You ready? Go for it. This, sir, will kill.
The ultimate Forged in Fire matchup.
You are the Forged in Fire champion.
2 champion blades in a deadly weapon showdown.
It will kill.
20 blades, 20 champions. You decide the winner. Forged in Fire madness.
The Zweihander.
My name is Jay Replogel. Ever since I was a kid, kung fu fighting my brother, with sticks in the backyard. I've always had a fascination with knives, and bladesmithing is just the mature level of that, I guess.
The Zweihander, which means two-hander in German, was a massive sword wielded by Swiss and German mercenary armies in the 16th century. Sometimes stretching to over 6 feet in length, the Zweihander was a longsword featuring an extended grip and broad guard. As European armies employed more pikes and polearms on the battlefield, the Zweihander emerged as a counterweapon. This enormous sword was used to break up pike formations by cutting spear ends and opening up holes in enemy lines. Due to its size, the Zweihander was only wielded by the biggest and most audacious soldiers. If these soldiers survived charges into enemy spears, they would often be paid double for their substantial risk. The Zweihander eventually faded from the battlefield, but survives today in games such as Dark Souls. The Indian two-handed sword.
My name is Jonathan Allen. My whole family tends to be pretty good with their hands. My dad makes a lot of wood furniture, and my brother is actually a welder. We always have taken a lot of pride in doing stuff with our hands and being creative.
Emerging around the 17th century, this rare two-handed sword joins some of the most iconic bladed weapons produced in the Indian subcontinent. The long double-edged blade reached lengths of up to 5 feet and was so heavy, it required the wielder to use 2 hands for more accurate strikes. It also featured 3 brass globes positioned on the shaft that offered a more secure grip, as well as a counterbalance for the heavy blade. Despite its substantial size, the blade was designed to flex. By the mid-18th century, improved gunpowder technology spread throughout India, making the Indian two-handed sword obsolete.
Here we are in Sparta, Tennessee at my shop. My game plan is to first do a design, and then we'll just go straight to forging. This sword is just epic. I mean, this is as big as it gets as far as swords go. So it's gonna be a real challenge. I've never made anything this big. I mean, the overall thing's gonna be 5 feet. It's a physical challenge as much as it is, a forging challenge. It's like CrossFit forging or something. But clock's ticking, you gotta get it done.
So far, it's coming together really good. My grind mark, speed up right here in the center really good.
It's time to quench. Getting an even heat over such a long piece, it's definitely make or break, If the quench doesn't go good, we're gonna have to start all over. When you have a 5-foot blade, that means you have to have almost a 5-foot quench tank. This could be pretty bad. If the quench doesn't go good, we're gonna have to start all over.
Sweet, didn't break. That's what I was hoping for.
Now I can start working on the guard. I put the wiggle shapes in it. So today I'm gonna wrap the handle in leather, and it'll make a super tough handle that should be able to take the impacts.
String helps everything get nice and tight.
This blade is a beast. It's gonna be able to take some punishment and deal some punishment.
It will cut.
First things first, I've got a piece of spring steel. That's what I'm gonna use for my blade. Gonna take a cutting torch, cut it down to size, and then throw it in the forge and start drawing out my blade shape. Doing it all by hand is tough. I didn't realize it would be quite that tough. And 3.5 hours in, I'm just exhausted. It's not going like I thought it would. At this point, my hands are locking up, I'm shaking. It's starting to wear on me pretty bad. I'm going over to that planishing hammer, trying to use it, seeing if it'll do anything to get that steel where I want it. It's not working out at all, so go back to the anvil, pick up my hammer, and just keep doing what I've been doing all day. Last night, I was able to get my blade quenched before going home. Today, what I'll actually do is tweak my handle pieces. One of the globes cracked. Just broke right down the middle. And that's not good. I'm gonna have to try to put it back together. Every time I weld one section, another freaking hole opens up. It's just not going well at all. I finally get my welder dialed in where I want it to avoid putting any more holes in it. Last night, I was able to get a lot more done than I expected to. Everything looks good. At this point, I definitely want to do a couple tests of my own.
All right.
Cool. It'll cut, it'll chop, hopefully it will kill.
Bladesmiths, the Zweihander was a weapon of war. Big weapon, big damage. I will take your weapon and deliver killing blows on this ballistic dummy. Let's see how much damage your weapon can do. Jay, you're up first. You ready?
Go for it.
Let's do this. It is a heavy weight, and it's harder to manipulate with multiple blows. But on the thrust, I was able to go in one side and all the way on the opposite side of the dummy. This, sir, will kill.
Thank you.
To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, we'll take your sword and deliver killing blows on this boar carcass. Jonathan, you ready?
Go for it.
All right, Jonathan, let's talk about your sword right here. First up, it's sharp. Definitely lacerated through easily. When wielding this weapon, there's a nice balance to it. Overall, your weapon, sir, will kill.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, this is the strength test. Now, the Zweihander was often used against pike formations. So I'm going to take your Zweihanders and go against a rack of pikes here, 5 times with each of your blades. See how far I can break through. Jay, you're up. Are you ready?
Ready.
Wow. When you start swinging this thing, it moves things out of its way. I don't see any damage to your edge. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, this is the dreaded bone chop. Remember, this test is all about what the bones do to your blades and not what your blades do to the bones. Jonathan, you're up. You ready?
Hope so.
Well, Jonathan, it's a similar result. There is some edge chipping here as well. The handle being round on one of the hits did roll in my hand. Aside from edge chipping, held up very well. Well done.
Thank you.
To test the sharpness of your edge, I'm going to cut into this bundle of sugarcane twice, once with either side. Jay, you're up first. Are you ready?
Ready as I'm ever gonna be.
It's got a lot of weight to it, but obviously it's plenty sharp. Nicely done.
Thank you.
To test the sharpness of your blade, I'll be cutting through these pumpkins. We'll take a look at those cuts, see how clean they are. Jonathan, you're up. Are you ready?
Ready.
So, Jonathan, you can see your blade has such a flexibility to it that when it hit, the blade actually warped out, cut over and through. It's a heck of a cutter. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Now it's your turn. Which weapon will you choose? Forged in Fire Madness.